million people in the last 3 years and has become LA's longest-running musical ever. If you haven't seen it, it's an incredible experience with a great story, a haunting score, and beautiful sets and costumes. But what is it like to create this magic 6 hours a day, 8 shows a week? In the next half hour, E will take you behind the scenes of a typical show day, from the early morning dance rehearsals to the afternoon activities of the principal players. Plus, you'll get a view of the incredible set and an eyewitness, never-before-seen view of the backstage business that you don't get from those orchestra seats.
I use this time to just kind of get my mind in gear, as it were, and try to become this person as I put my makeup on.
Andrew Lloyd Webber's The Phantom of the Opera is the musical tale of a disfigured genius living in the subterranean caverns of the Paris Opera House. The monster falls in love with the voice and the face of young Kristien Daae and embarks upon an obsessive quest to win her love at all costs. Performing this demanding show is only half the battle. For most of the cast and crew, The Phantom is a full-time job that begins many hours before the curtain rises.
Hi, my name is Michael O'Brien. I'm with Wardrobe, The Phantom of the Opera, here in Los Angeles. Today we're at International Silk and Woolens to do a little fabric shopping for restoration projects on the show.
After carefully choosing the necessary fabrics, O'Brien heads back to the wardrobe department to restore a group of costumes for that evening's performance.
This is one of the Hannibal slave girls. These are the beads we're going to be replacing. Also up here. To the left here we have the fish costume that I was buying fabric for. This is one of the masquerade costumes worn by the ballerinas. Some of this fabric we've had pleated already, and we've been doing restoration all day long.
All of the Phantom costumes were designed by Maria Bjornson for the original London production of the show. In Los Angeles, as in all stagings of the play, special attention is paid to detail in order to uphold the original design concepts.
And over here on this dress form, we have Kristine's gala Hannibal skirt, which she puts on stage with the help of Madame Giry and a few others. New York sent us some of this trim, and we've been making tassels for the skirt. We also stitched this trim on here to make the pattern, because the fabric itself was just the basic red with gold. I think principal costumes take the most work, simply because of the detailing on them and the importance they play on stage.
While the costumers finish their needlework, another group of show people begin their own restoration routine.
So just take it real slow. 6 and the 7 and 8 and the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. Well, I'm what's called the dance captain, and my job is to maintain the choreography and keep everything looking clean and all the musical staging in order. I kind of try and keep the rehearsals to a minimum. Usually what I do is I watch the show and I take notes and I run around before the show and I try and talk to people sometimes during the show. We've been running, we're in our 4th year now, and everybody knows what they're supposed to do. It's just that sometimes what happens is it gets a little sloppy here and there, or we forget certain things, and I just, you know, remind them of how it should be according to what the choreographer and what the director have asked for it. Now this we don't have all together. Noriko, can you leave more space? Sometimes it gets a little... Yeah. It's, you know, it still has the same emotional, you know, fear of what's going on with the slave master, but don't close it in. Keep it a little space here. The choreography for the show, well, it's a period piece. It takes place in the late 1800s in Paris. So as far as all the ballet dancers are concerned, they were all... their characters and their movements were all based on the old Degas paintings and sculptures and things like that. I think the greatest challenge is stylistically, to get the style. The biggest difference in the style at that time was that people were lit from the floor, so all of our head angles and things are different than now.
Up next on Behind the Scenes, a diva gets a double dose of puppy love.
Behind the Scenes. The
Welcome back to E's half-hour look at the Phantom of the Opera.
Living with Phantom means more than just grease paint and footlights. For many of the principal players, a busy show day begins on the home front.
Your obedient servant, O.G.
Calvin Remsberg plays opera house manager Monsieur Firmin, but the time spent singing each evening on the floorboards doesn't fill his musical quota for the day.
Seeing you in summer, I never would go.
Mark was the first student I had out here. I had taught quite a bit in New York, but actually when I came out here, of course, all of my students I left in New York. And I hadn't really thought about, or at least hadn't crossed my mind to start teaching again out here until Mark, who had seen Phantom, came up to me one day as I was walking across the plaza and stopped to tell me how much he'd enjoyed the show, and he asked if I could recommend any voice teachers. And I thought for a minute, and I said, well, you know, no, the only person that I know would recommend you studying with is me. And we work every week, and that was my getting back into the swing of things, and I now have 11 students. You pretty much need to stay fairly in rhythm the second time. Okay. I mean, the first time. The second time, though, particularly here, I think, 3.5 years down the line, it's a lot easier than it was at the beginning. When I first came out here, I was very protective of my time and of my health and everything. I didn't go out at night. I didn't do anything. But after you've found your way along, you sort of develop the stamina that you need, and it all becomes kind of a little bit of a second nature to you. Then you can start doing other things. But I still know that the Phantom is basically what I'm out here to do. And so there comes that time when you have to say, okay, I'm about at the end of my energy, and then you have to sit down and you have to rest, because you can't cheat those people that pay to see you every night.
As Calvin concludes his voice lesson, Davis Gaines embarks on his equally demanding afternoon ritual.
Most of the time, Monday through Friday, I'm in town, and if I don't have an audition or appointment to go to, I always try to do some sort of exercise every day. I go to a gym and do weight training for a couple hours, and then usually every day, and then I come to Windsor Fitness to do the Pilates method maybe 3 times a week to strengthen my abs and stretch my muscles. It's almost like taking a dance class.
And roll down, pull away, that's good.
You're on a apparatus that has pulleys and strings and boxes, and you are watched by a trainer, and they concentrate on different body parts. I feel like in the role at night, I get so much aerobic exercise. I'm constantly running around and, sweating a lot and breathing heavy. It's hard work, but this helps my stamina, and definitely helps my stamina and makes it easier at night.
Because I work at night, I get to sleep late, usually around 2 or 3 o'clock. So that means that I sleep late in the morning.
Leading lady Daae Kristien shares her evenings with the Phantom and keeps her days to herself.
I don't try to schedule too many things because my job is demanding. I like to have projects keep me occupied, like refinishing furniture. I'll do a chair today, or, fixing up something in my house. It was really pretty crappy, basically, and it had another cover on it that was decayed and diseased. So I just took it off, re-glued it, and put a finish on it.